It's rainy in Seattle, but it is sunny here for our 90 minutes together. That's right. We have an action-packed 90 minutes together where we get to do something special. We get to be live and interactive and cover things that we cannot cover anywhere else. This is one of my favorite times of the week, arguably my second favorite time of the week, second only to the time I get to spend with my best friend, my wife, but here live with the Sane Ignite family is certainly a close second. So thank you for joining me and a bunch of your Sane certified coaches. If you have questions, that's what this time is all about. But I only have two requests for you. One is no medical advice, because medical advice is actually illegal to provide over the internet. So you can ask me anything you want, just not medical advice, because we here at your Sane family are wonderful compliments to your wellness staff, your primary care physician, your surgeons, all these other individuals. But please, please, please see nothing myself or anything in the program or anything any of your Sane certified coaches say as a substitution for working with your medical professionals. See it rather as a wonderful compliment. But other than that, we can cover anything you want. The one request or the way to get the most out of this session is, as you know, hopefully, as you've seen in your Sane Ignite program, hopefully you've seen the quick start videos. I know we have a lot of new members here tonight. But hopefully you've gone in and you've seen your step-by-step program. And I want to highlight your step-by-step program here for a second for two reasons. And I do this every week, so I'm sorry for our longtime members. I know you're tired of hearing this, but it's worth the reminder. Your step-by-step program is the heart of your Sane Ignite program. This is where you're going to find that 15 years of proven biology, psychology, neurobiology, endocrinology, gastroenterology, and all sorts of other ologies in a beautiful step-by-step fashion, gradually taking you from just dipping your toe in all the way into the deep end. So again, log into your program, click on step-by-step, and please, please, please make the simple commitment to at least every other day complete one lesson in your step-by-step program. The reason that's so important is so much is covered within your step-by-step program. That's a little PDF checklist that you can find in the very first course to check off your progress. But so much is covered, and it's covered in the perfect order so that you never feel overwhelmed. And I say that here because we've gotten a little bit of feedback. So I like to give a little disclaimer at the beginning that these calls, they might seem a little bit overwhelming if we come at them with a mindset of perfection rather than progress, because these calls, they're intended to be the deep end. We are going to cover advanced topics here. We're going to cover things that aren't already in your Ignite program. We're going to cover things, as you know, hopefully you've been in your Sane coaching and support group. You've seen the amazing, loving support that you can get there. You've seen the love and expertise of your Sane certified coaches. So between your step-by-step program and your coaching and support group, like 99.999% of any question you could have is going to be covered, because that's our goal here in the Sane Ignite family, is to be the last stop on your wellness journey, and so that we can walk together into an eternity together of long-term wellness. So we want to provide everything you need, but there's that 0.0001% that may be something that's cutting edge, that just happened. Maybe you just heard about it in the news, or maybe it's a really deep and nuanced question that just doesn't, there's emotional eating, how to get your family to go sane with you. These are topics which are covered in great detail in your Ignite program, because they're common for almost all of us. And of course, your Sane certified coaches have so much insight in the support group, but we have a unique opportunity here for 90 minutes to get deep and to crank through stuff pretty fast, because I want to make sure I get to as many questions as I can. So please give yourself permission. If this is fast, and if you're like, I don't know what he just said, that's a lot of biology, it's all good. It's all good. This call is going to be recorded. It's going to be available for you in your Ignite program. Just look down at the footer and click on coaching calls. You can watch it as many times as you like. And one of the neatest things about your experience is, as you go sane, you're going to get more and more out of these calls as you go. And you can pop back and watch previous calls and you're going to say, oh my gosh, that makes sense now. I get it now. So even if all the science we cover today, because we are going to go deep and we are going to go fast, even if it doesn't make sense right now, let it wash over you. Because while it may not resonate with your conscious mind yet, subconsciously, you're going to start to feel the sane mindset shift. And you can probably already see this in the support group. And you can probably already see this throughout the Sane program, is that we approach things a bit differently. We approach things with a loving, long-term, and scientific approach, which are three things that, frankly, I've never found together in any other context. And that's why we created the Sane Ignite program for you. So just let this call wash over you. Please don't let it overwhelm you. And if you do have some of those more deep, nuanced, cutting edge questions, let's go back and forth. Let's have some fun. Let's do it live here and post those, please, as soon as you can in the question box at the bottom of the page. And if you haven't already, make sure that after this call, you go into your Ignite program, you click on step by step, and you give yourself a little reminder on the calendar, at least every other day, to set aside just 15 minutes to go through one step in your step-by-step program and then to pop over into your coaching and support group. Because if you have questions, you know what? You can post them there all day, every day, and your loving Sane family and Sane certified coaches will take care of them for you ASAP. It's an incredible 1-2 punch. I love it. So let's go ahead and get started today with from the top. We've got quite a few questions. So again, get those submitted. And again, if you can't catch everything because I go too fast in this call, please don't worry. The call is going to be recorded and posted online in your Ignite website within the next 72 hours. Just scroll down to the bottom and click coaching. And if anyone's page doesn't seem right now, click refresh and you will be off to the races and ready to go. So let's get started. All right, questions for me down to the bottom of the page, chat, rock and roll. Let's do it. All right. First one. From a recent coaching call, an individual sounds like they talked with their Sane certified coach and they were covering some questions about probiotics, apple cider vinegar, and fermented foods, and had a wonderful conversation about that, but wanted to get my take on it. So absolutely happy to help. It looks like there's three separate things here: probiotics, apple cider vinegar, and fermented foods. And one other quick note, if you're new to these calls, if you hear a question, you're like, that doesn't apply to me, please don't turn this off and please don't tune out, because I'm going to make sure that the way I answer all of these questions, I'm going to give you the specific answer to the question, but then I'm going to show you how it ties back to the underlying Sane science that's going to empower you to make sane decisions throughout your life in every context you can imagine. So that's what me and all your Sane certified coaches and every lesson in your step-by-step program are here to do. We're here, the old saying of teach a person to fish versus giving them a fish. We are here to teach you to fish, not only because fish are some of the sanest foods in the world, but rather because all this nonsense in the past, right? All this do exactly this, just follow this food list, just follow this exact meal plan. I mean, it's cool, it's sexy, it gets us excited for about 15 minutes because we say, oh my gosh, look at this exact meal plan. If I just follow this exact meal plan, then everything's gonna work itself out. But then reality happens, life happens. Oh, I don't have that in my refrigerator. What do? No one's actually taught us. No one's actually taught us the underlying science, the underlying paradigms, the underlying philosophy, the underlying habits, so that we can take any circumstance and make it sane. And that's what we want to do with you. We don't want to give you lists to memorize. We don't want to give you a bunch of stuff to count. We want to empower you with knowledge that is going to help you stay sane everywhere forever. So let's apply that to probiotics. Let's apply that to apple cider vinegar, and let's apply that to fermented foods with this very first question. First and foremost, probiotics. Probiotics are a fine option. As you know, hopefully, within the Sane program, we're not super into supplements, only because it's very easy to allow supplements to distract us from whole, natural, healing foods. I mean, by definition, a supplement, it's called a supplement, which means in addition to, not in place of. But there's just such a temptation when we take, for example, a vitamin C supplement. We might say, okay, vitamin C, check. I don't have to think about getting vitamin C from my food. So maybe I'm not going to eat as many vegetables today. I just want you to be careful with that. I want you to be careful with the supplement mindset in general, because one of the problems with that supplement mindset is it's what's called reductionism, where the idea that a 30 milligram ascorbic acid tablet, aka synthetic vitamin C, is presented to us as being the same as getting that same amount of natural vitamin C within an orange, and that's just not true. Eating an orange and getting vitamin C in its natural form in the context of an orange, where there's literally millions of other cofactors and enzymes, this is night and day. And I know you don't need a PhD. None of us need a PhD in biochemistry to get this. And it's such an important and empowering point. If you just even think back to high school biology class, if you take pure vitamin C and you put it in a petri dish with water, for example, something's going to happen. Maybe not much, because vitamin C doesn't really react with water. But if you put vitamin C and a bunch of other stuff in water, right, whatever happens to that vitamin C is going to be very, very different. So hydrogen plus peroxide, together does something very different than just hydrogen and just peroxide. So when we combine multiple elements together, we get a much different result. And our body was designed or evolved, whatever your belief system, in a context of eating whole foods, period. There has never been a time in our species history where we said, just eat pure vitamin C, for example. That has never, ever, ever happened, except the current couple generations. Now, that doesn't mean eating vitamin C is bad. It just means that it's really important that supplements are considered optional, they're considered extra credit, and they're considered supplements. So should you take a probiotic supplement? If you want to, if you got some money burning a hole in your pocket and you really want to try a probiotic supplement, all good. Just please do be careful with probiotics or any other supplement, simply because of the risks I just said. Plus, at least in the United States, the supplement industry is completely unregulated. And let me, just for a second, because I know we talked about this before, but just for a second, this is really important. Most people don't understand this because it's hard to believe. But if your next door neighbor decided that they wanted to make some money on the side, and they got a bag of flour out of their cupboard, and then they bought some empty capsules, and they put flour in capsules and those capsules in the bottle, and called them, Mary Stevens Magic Weight Loss Formula, and sold them over the internet. Mary Stevens has not broken any laws. And according to the Federal Department of Agriculture or the FDA, and the USDA, no one can come after her because she's saying this is a nutritional supplement. So she can frankly put whatever she wants into capsules. And as long as she doesn't make any causative health claims, as long as she doesn't say this cures something, she can say all sorts of, may prevent this, could possibly reduce the incidence of blank, may optimize blank, all those things. Even if it's nonsense within a little gel capsule, is completely within the legal code here in the United States. So you just have to be very careful for many reasons when it comes to supplements. Probiotic supplement, if it's high quality, if you can trust the manufacturer, and if you just really want to try it, go ahead. It's probably not going to hurt you. Definitely not required to go sane. Now, apple cider vinegar, this is a great topic to cover right next to probiotics, because apple cider vinegar could be thought of almost like a supplement, but it's not. It's an extract from food. It's amazing. It's extremely good for you. And this is where we like to focus more when it comes to Sane. If you want to do something to turbocharge or to take your sanity to the next level, things like food or food derivatives that have been concentrated down, this is more of what we like to talk about in terms of supplements. For example, the things you find on the Sane store, Garden in My Glass, spirulina, thin cell wall chlorella, beetroot powder, moringa, neem leaf, the kelp. These are foods that have been concentrated down and are super nutritionally potent, and that nutrition is found within the context of the whole food, and because of that, it works in the way it is intended to work within your body, which is beautiful. And apple cider vinegar is a great example of that. Apple cider vinegar is one of my favorite things to add to my green smoothies to help with taste, also to help with digestion, and also to help with the general alkalinity of your body, which is important. We do want to make sure that we don't have an acidic state in our body. We want to keep our body relatively alkaline, and vegetables are a huge part of that. Lemons do a very good job of that. Apple cider vinegar does a great job of that. And that's extremely important also when going sane, because as you know, when we go sane, we've got our non-starchy vegetables, and then we also have nutrient-dense protein. And it's really important that when we eat complete sane meals. And a complete sane meal has non-starchy vegetables and nutrient-dense protein in it. It has to have at least those two components. And the reason for that, besides the fact that if you don't eat non-starchy vegetables with every meal, it's pretty hard to get up to that double-digit goal, is because nutrient-dense proteins, when eaten by themselves, can cause an acidic reaction in your body, which again is not a problem when eaten in the context of an overall sane lifestyle, in a complete sane meal, because you're taking in all these wonderful non-starchy vegetables. Maybe you're taking in some apple cider vinegar as well. Maybe you're taking in some pureed lemon. You're really focused on keeping that alkaline balance in your body. So then when you eat your 3 to 6 servings of nutrient-dense protein, you have an abundance of alkalinity. So the bit of acidity that adds in your body is not a problem at all. So lots of good things about apple cider vinegar. And also, if you read other things on the internet about nutrition, which I would strongly encourage you not to, there is no shortage of content in your Ignite program to provide everything you need to take back control of your health, wellness, and weight. But if you do happen to read insane things else around the internet, you might hear things like eating protein can cause your body to leach calcium from your bones, and it can cause an acidic urea can build up in your bloodstream, and it can the problem, and this is what happens with most of the incomplete nutrition nonsense that we see on the internet, is you're getting just a teeny sliver, you're just getting a teeny peek at the whole picture. It's absolutely true that if we just sat down and we ate 10 chicken breasts and nothing else, that would create a horribly acidic environment in our body, and we'd never want to do it. And we'd never want to do it in a sane lifestyle either. We'd want to eat non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats in that order and together as often as possible, so we maintain that optimal pH balance in our body. Because again, here at Sane, we're going to give you that complete picture so you can completely transform your health. So that's probiotics, that's apple cider vinegar, and fermented foods. Fermented foods, I love it. This is a great cluster of questions, because fermented foods are an example of a food that is so powerful, that is so nutritionally therapeutic, that I would almost consider it a supplement. And maybe one way to think about this that's helpful is when you have historically taken supplements, you don't take a supplement because it's delicious. For example, you probably don't say, that pill didn't taste very good, so I'm not going to eat it again, right? Because you know that the reason you're taking that pill has nothing to do with to enjoy the taste, and it's not that you don't want to enjoy the taste of things. You absolutely do want to enjoy the taste of things, but in certain contexts, you might put something into your mouth and you might put something into your body, not because it tastes good, but because of the way it makes you feel. And there are foods like fermented foods, like kimchi, for example, where if you just eat it with the idea that, this is going to be this is going to be like a party in my mouth. It's going to be so delicious. It might not be immediately delicious. However, instead of spending your time and money on pills and these crazy unregulated supplements, if you take that same level of diligence and you focus it on these therapeutic whole foods or food derivatives, apple cider vinegar or fermented foods, these substances, these foods will do more good for your body than any supplement ever could. And if you can take that almost nutritional medicine mindset, if you try apple cider vinegar and you're not like, this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my life, or if you try kimchi or other fermented foods and it doesn't immediately taste amazing, you'll say to yourself, well, that's fine. I have other things that I like to eat that are delicious. I'm eating this to heal my body. And the good news is that your taste buds will adjust and you will get used to it. But instead of, what about probiotics? Focusing more on things like apple cider vinegar, like fermented foods, like naturally occurring prebiotics that occur in foods like artichokes and mushrooms, or even your Sane meal bars and cravings killers. These are going to do more good for you and protect your mindset, focusing on whole foods instead of supplements, more than all those pills combined. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have follow-up questions, please post them in the box below and just put in all caps follow-up : and I will go ahead and see how much I can help. All right, next question. How do emotions affect a person's results when going sane? Emotions have a huge impact on your results when going sane. In fact, right now, we are working literally right before this call, and tomorrow we are going to be shooting some new videos, which I am happy to say that as a member of the Ignite family, you will get. Again, we are here to take care of you for life. So as we create new resources, whenever we can, we will be giving these to you for free. You have made a commitment to us, so now we have a commitment to you. So right now we are working on something which actually I have not announced it publicly, and the name might change, but right now we're working on a new program that's called Love Yourself Slim. Again, it's Love Yourself Slim, and I am so excited about it because it's covering in detail exactly this questions. How do your emotions affect your results when going sane? And by the way, you get it for free. I buried the lead there. As a member of the Ignite family, you will be getting free access to this program because, again, you made a commitment to us. So we're going to make a commitment back to you to take care of you for life. But your emotions have a tremendous impact on you when going sane. Emotions and stress are as impactful, if not more. I don't know. That might be a little too much than what you're eating. And you might say to yourself, Jonathan, how is that even possible? Well, let me give you just one example. There have been studies done. So you've all likely heard about the placebo effect, where you give someone, there's a study and they give people an actual drug, and then they give people a sugar pill or something that is not that drug, but the people don't know, am I taking the drug or am I taking the sugar pill? I don't know. And they've sometimes even made the sugar pill have none of the active ingredient. But for example, if the drug can cause drowsiness, they'll make the sugar pill, they'll add some things to it to also make it drowsy. So really, there's no way people could know, am I taking the active ingredient in the drug or am I just taking the placebo? And clinical trial, double-blind, controlled studies, the most rigorous science in the world, has consistently found that in placebo studies, placebos, when people believe that what they're taking should help them, oftentimes they see almost as good or even better results than individuals who actually take the drug. Now, this does not mean that if you are on prescription medication, stop. It does not mean that at all. Please do not do that. What it does mean, though, is that what you believe and what you think has this is not, Eastern medicine, woo-woo, not that, I love me some Eastern medicine, but this is rigorous Western medicine. This is total left brain thinking. What you think and what you believe radically impacts your health outcomes. In fact, there have been placebo studies where they'll actually tell a group, you are taking a placebo. So they will give one group the drug, the other group a placebo, tell the other group that they are taking a placebo, and the group who knows they're taking a sugar pill will still get benefits that should only happen if they're taking the actual drug. How is that possible? Well, when the mind expects things, the mind has a transformative impact on your body. There's medically documented cases of monks who can actually change their eye color. There are people who have been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder where one of their personalities will have a medical condition and another one won't. Seriously, think about that for a second. Someone's mind that has multiple personality disorder, one of their personalities can be pre-diabetic and another one can't or is not at the same time. Think about that. I mean, between placebo studies and between what we've seen with certain neurological disorders, the impact that your mind has on your body is as proven as anything that can be proven in both Western and Eastern medicine. Why does this matter? Why is this so important? Well, one of the reasons is if you're like, the support group, I'm not really into that, or, I haven't really had my one-on-one coaching calls because I just, that's all a little fluffy, and I just want the science. I just want to read the step-by-step program. I just want to get on with it. I swear to you that working above the neck on your emotions, on your self-love, on your belief that change is possible with the right information, having a positive support system, like your support group, like your coaching and support group, like your Sane certified coaches, like these group calls. This is so critical. If your sane eating is perfect and you feel a sense of lack and self-loathing, and this is just, that Jonathan guy, whatever, he's got a big forehead and giant teeth, so I guess I'll listen to him for a little bit. But, I've tried everything, and there's no way this is going to work. That mindset is more toxic than pink slime, than high fructose corn syrup, than trans fats all put together. I swear to you that everyone involved in your Sane program, we are committed to the most rigorous science in the world. And the most rigorous science in the world, as well as common sense, promises, guarantees, and proves to us that if you eat more of what your body needs to thrive, and so much more of it, that you're too full for insane and toxic nonsense, that you have to get better. So you can believe with full confidence that if you continue to go sane and continue to make small steps and just keep going and give yourself that calm consistency and that patience to let your body heal, you will see results. And then if those negative beliefs start to come in, which they will, we live in a culture where it's fear-based and it's lack-based and it's don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you're not good enough at this. Turn that off. Please jump into your support group, listen to your step-by-step programs, just have earbuds in and listen to the audio parts of your step-by-step program. Crowd all that other stuff out, because this is a very long answer to how do emotions affect a person's results when going sane. They affect them phenomenally. In fact, they impact them more than even I thought. When HarperCollins published The Calorie Myth 3 years ago, I was like, eating and exercise. And there was a little bit of section in that book on psychology. What we have seen and what the research has shown, even more compelling over the past 3 years and actually a few years behind that, is that the psychological aspects are key. So if you are not in the support group every day, please do that. Allow us to help you not only achieve sanity uppercase below the neck, but also sanity lowercase above the neck, because you live, I live, we all live in an insane world that is built around negativity and fear. But we here at the Sane family, we are here to focus on positivity and hope. Because we know that with the proper information, we can absolutely make progress. Will the progress happen next week? No. Will the progress happen in 2 minutes? No. Will the progress happen eventually and compellingly and permanently if you stick with it? Yes, absolutely, always guaranteed. So that's why we're hopeful, and the reason we're positive is not because we want to be Pollyanna-ish, is not because we want to wear rose-colored glasses. It's because the proven science of human psychology is that positive goals motivate and negative goals demotivate, and demotivating yourself is no way to succeed. So we've got to focus on the positive, what we want to eat more of, more non-starchy vegetables, more nutrient-dense protein, more whole food fats, more low fructose fruits. So we're too full for insane starches and sweets. We're not here to be like, don't do this, don't do that, rah, 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 rah. We're here to say, do so much of the good that you crowd out the bad and you full, F-U-L-L, yourself into sanity over time. So if you can't tell, my emotions are pretty excited right now because this is a great question. Your emotions matter a lot. So hopefully that is helpful. All right. Next, oops, here we go. This one is quite long, so I can't actually see all of it. All right, next one here. When I make smoothies, going by the recipe, I end up with almost 3 glasses full of smoothie. Is this all one serving? I can't drink that much at one time. Your smoothie recipes, at least as they're presented on the website, will tell you how many servings are in the thing that comes out of your blender. So for example, if the recipe says this smoothie provides you, if the recipe on the Sane Ignite website says this smoothie provides you with 3 servings of vegetables and 1 serving of low fructose fruit, that means that the entirety of what comes out of your blender consists of 3 servings of vegetables and 1 serving of low fructose fruit. So if that fits in 3 glasses, it's not 3 times that, it's just a lot of smoothie. And you can, of course, control the volume of your smoothie by how much liquid you put into it. But it is important to keep in mind that the recipes that are presented on the Sane Ignite website are showing you this is the amount of vegetables, proteins, fats that are found in this full recipe, if that makes sense. So that is 1 full blender of that smoothie. And there's no need to drink it all in one sitting. In fact, you don't probably want to drink it all immediately. That could cause a little bit of digestive problems. So drinking it slowly over the course of the day is a great way to go. And also, if you do want to dial up the amount of vegetables you're getting in your smoothie, do feel free to pack in those green leafy vegetables. It's hard to believe. You take this much spinach and you put it in your smoothie and it blends down to be like this. So feel free to try that. And also do feel free to try, if you want to help super saturate your cells with nutrition that you can't get at your grocery store because they don't sell things like spirulina and thin cell wall chlorella, then you can try things like Garden in My Glass or some of our powdered superfoods, because just 1 tablespoon of that, because it's been had all the water taken out, is going to be a entire serving of non-starchy vegetables. So a lot of people find that helpful as well. All right, rock and roll. How do you, wait, here we go. How do you, oops, this is a long one. All right. How do you balance input and output such that weight loss continues? I'm worried my intake is less than my output now that I've started swimming 3 times per week. Worried that it may slow down my metabolism to a point of weight loss stasis. Excellent question, and a good sort of different rephrasing of the general calorie in versus calorie out question. One big thing to keep in mind is that if you have excess fat on your body, when you go sane and when you heal your hormonal clog, if you have, say, 100 pounds of surplus fat on your body, not 100 pounds of fat in total, but 100 pounds of excess fat in addition to the fat that you do need to be healthy. Let's go with what we've all heard many times before, which is a pound of fat contains 3,500 calories in it. Well, for an individual who then has 100 pounds of excess fat on their body, this individual has 350,000 calories already in their body. So for this individual, when they go sane, because their food, the food that they're eating is so highly satisfying, that's the S in sane, and because they're getting so much nutrition and therefore likely dropping their cravings, because a lot of those cravings sometimes happen when we have nutrient deficiencies, they're going to experience what's called a spontaneous reduction of caloric intake. Because again, if the calories you eat just fill you up more and keep you fuller longer, you will automatically and accidentally eat fewer calories. But the beauty here is that as you go sane, so there, first of all, you're not starving yourself at all. You're full, so you stop eating. That's not starving yourself by any way, shape, or form. And you're taking in abundant nutrition. So taking in more nutrition is, again, the opposite of starving yourself. So you're taking in abundant nutrition. You've got lots of essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, things like that. You're very full and satisfied, and your appetite plummets, and you're feeling really good. So like this individual, they're swimming 3 times per week. So you're accidentally eating less food. You're still full. You're still satisfied. Your energy levels are up. You're swimming 3 times per week. And it's a great question to ask. Jonathan, I've gone through the step-by-step program. I've talked to my Sane certified coach. I don't want this starvation mode to happen. So if I'm accidentally eating fewer calories, I mean, some studies show that individuals who go and take a more sane approach to eating, they accidentally are full and satisfied on 1,000 fewer calories per day. Again, that's something that's basically impossible to do if you just try to eat less, but by eating more of the right foods, it happens accidentally. So if you combine that with swimming, am I gonna cannibalize my muscle tissue? Is all that badness of starving yourself gonna happen to me? And the answer is no. And here's why, and it's amazing, and it's why Sane works so well. First, if you have surplus fat on your body, and if you go sane and you clear these hormonal, neurological, and gastrointestinal clogs, what happens is you become fat adapted. And what that means is part of the reason that your appetite has fallen is because your body has now regained the ability to eat the calories that are already inside you. So if you have any surplus fat on your body, another way to think of that is you have energy already in your body. So you don't necessarily have to take an additional energy through your lips because it's already on your hips. Now you do need to take in vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids through your lips because those don't get stored on your body. So that's why, again, vegetables, protein, so important. But as you go sane, yes, your appetite will fall, but your nutrition skyrockets. That's the S and the N in sane. And then your energy level skyrockets because, again, you're not starving. You have an abundance of nutrition. So you become more active like this individual. And you don't have to worry about your metabolism slowing down because while fewer calories may be passing through your lips, the rest of your energy is coming from your fat stores. And that's exactly what you want. And because you're eating sufficient nutrition and because you've restored that hormonal balance, you don't need to worry about your metabolism slowing down. You don't need to worry about your body cannibalizing muscle tissues. These are the things that happen when we starve ourselves because you have abundant nutrition, you have abundant satiety, and now your body is just automatically supplementing calories in with calories that are already in your body. So keep swimming, keep being as active as you possibly can because when you combine a smart, low impact, active lifestyle with sane eating, it is a really, really powerful 1-2 combo that is going to help you look and feel a lot better. So excellent question. All right, let me get a sip of water here. Next question. Having dental surgery soon and will be on a liquid diet after it. Any tips for liquid diet nutrition? Well, my friend, you are in the right place because you know we love us some Sane smoothies. Yes, please, immediately after this call, simply go to your Ignite website and go to the recipe section and look under the smoothie drop down and then pop over into your coaching and support group. And we love us some Vitamix. We love us some blended vegetables with some proteins and fats. So you will not find an I love smoothies. We love smoothies. Sane smoothies are the way to go. So I once joked with my wife when I had my wisdom teeth pulled. I was like, oh, this has changed my life very little because I do drink quite a few Sane smoothies. So we've got you taken care of for sure there. Is monk fruit an acceptable sugar substitute? I believe that Lohango is a monk fruit extract. I could be wrong. Monk fruit as just monk fruit, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I do not know the sugar content of monk fruit. If you post in the Sane coaching and support group, I know your coaches could help with this one. But if monk fruit is where Lohango is derived from, then the derivative sweetener of monk fruit, which is Lohango, is definitely Sane. There are basically 4 Sane sweeteners: monk fruit, stevia, erythritol, and xylitol, all of which good to go. Next question. All right. I have this weight, so add it up. All right, this is a longer one. I have started having bulletproof coffee with Sane cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of mood boosting cocoa powder, along with 4 tablespoons of clean whey protein for breakfast most days. The butter I use is grass-fed and organic. I enjoy this drink daily. I've heard you attend the Bulletproof show, but I'm not sure your point of view of bulletproof coffee as a drink. I put no dairy in the coffee. Do you recommend this protein-filled breakfast? I 100%, just to be clear, I do not think an individual who is trying to burn fat and keep it off for the rest of their life should add butter to their coffee ever, under any circumstance. And I don't mean to be like too firm about that, but pure fat, right? Like, yes, bulletproof coffee, adding 500 calories of pure fat to your coffee or to anything that's 500 calories of not vegetables and of not protein and of not whole food fats. So it's all over the internet. It's so popular these days. And if you're already, if you're a skinny, young male who lives in Silicon Valley and is biohacking and doing CrossFit, I'm sure it's a fantastic option. But for basically everyone else, I would highly advise against it, because there are such saner sources of calories. Right there, it's not that butter is horrible for you. I mean, if you want to butter your vegetables, that's great. But think about it this way: sane, satisfying, unaggressive, nutritious, inefficient, non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats, low sugar fruits. If you're taking in 500 calories of pure, concentrated, non-whole food fat in a beverage, and it doesn't matter if it's butter in your coffee or whether it's heavy cream that Starbucks puts into something, that's 500 unsatisfying, not nutritious calories that are extremely efficient. These calories can be stored as fat almost immediately on your body, and they're not providing any essential nutrition. So I would strongly, strongly recommend, please never go out of your way to put concentrated, insane sources of calories into anything that you eat. And this even includes oil in your cooking. It doesn't mean we don't cook with oil, but it means that we might use a teaspoon of coconut oil rather than just, fat's good for me, so I'm going to put a bunch of coconut oil in the pan, because that's what you hear about on the internet. That's what's sexy to post on Instagram. It's fun on Facebook to show pictures of bacon-wrapped butter. Whole food fats. Please write that down. Whole food fats. Coconut oil is a great oil to cook with, but part of the reason that coconut oil is good for you is because, boom, coconut, the whole food, is phenomenal for you. And please, 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 when we think about oil is to whole food fats what sugar is to plants, right? A sugar cane, a sugar beet, these are whole foods. But we extract out and concentrate out the sugar. That concentrated sugar is not something that's good for us. Well, when we look at oils and we look at butter, we're taking whole foods and we're ripping just the fat out. And whole food fats are great for us, but concentrated fat is just not sane. It's not giving our body the abundant nutrition it needs. And I get so passionate about this because so much is posted on the internet about how healthy this is. And like this individual, he or she is trying so hard, right? This Sane mood boosting cocoa powder, fantastic. Sane clean whey protein, fantastic. But again, where are the vegetables? The vegetables are the most key thing. And the internet, you put all this oil and butter everywhere, but no one's talking about vegetables, right? So if you want to put oil and butter on your vegetables, now that's a totally different ballgame. But please, 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 when you think about what you're going to put into your body, it's non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, and whole food fats. So if we were to look at this breakfast choice of coffee plus butter plus mood-boosting cocoa powder plus clean whey protein. Well, coffee is neither sane nor insane because it's non-caloric, so it's fine. There are some benefits to coffee, so coffee is fine and absolutely permitted within a sane lifestyle. Sane mood-boosting cocoa powder, fantastic, just absolutely wonderful. It's counted as a whole food fat, but it's very difficult to eat enough of it for it to count as anything because it's basically pure fiber. So that's a fantastic thing. Clean whey protein, fantastic. But the one thing that's missing is the most important thing. It's the least sexy thing, but it's the most important thing, and that's those non-starchy vegetables. So hopefully that helps. I'm sorry for the bit of a rant, but this seems to be the internet thing du jour currently. I love Dave Asprey. He's a good friend of mine. I've been on his show. I think that his message is a beautiful one for his target audience, which is, I believe, people who are young and already very fit and want to get even fitter. And just like Michael Phelps needs to eat 10,000 calories per day, and that makes total sense. If you're Michael Phelps, someone like a Dave Asprey probably should drink bulletproof coffee because it's a great fit for him. But just like I would never recommend that me or you or anyone on this call eats like Michael Phelps because we're not currently training for the Olympics. To eat that way based on our goals is just not a good match. So I do hope that's helpful. And please remember, it's all about those vegetables. It's all about the greens. And I don't mean the greens in your wallet. I mean the greens in your grocer's produce section. Hopefully that is helpful. All right. I've heard that microbiomes in your gut are very important in losing weight. So how can I culture the right microbiomes in my gut? Do I need to take a probiotic or have a poo transplant? Nice. Just to back up a second here, sorry, that one threw me off a little bit. So yes, your gut microbiome is hugely important. When we talk about your set point, we talk about your set point being influenced by three primary components of your biology, and that's your neurobiology or your brain chemistry, your endocrinology, your hormones, and your gastroenterology or your gut microbiome. And one of the most amazing discoveries that has recently happened in medicine is if we look at individuals who chronically struggle with their weight and we look at individuals who are naturally slim, they have different sets of bacteria living in their gut. This is good bacteria. And if you take the bacteria from the naturally slim person, or in clinical study parlance, the rat or mouse, because you can't do this with people as easily, the obese mammal will actually start to slim down because the microbiome in their gut has changed. And one of the ways they do this is actually with what's called a fecal transplant. If you're eating, you might want to stop right now, but this is a real thing. They will actually take the fecal matter from one mammal and put it into another mammal, and that causes the microbiome to change. Now, the good news is you don't need to do that. So if that's on your to-do list, please cross it off. No need to have a fecal transplant anytime soon. The good news is that by eating non-starchy vegetables, really focusing on those non-starchy vegetables and whole food fats, the whole food component is critical. You will naturally change the bacteria in your gut. And this is yet another reason that giving yourself time to make small, gradual progress over time is so important, because there is nothing healthy that you can do to fundamentally change the gut flora immediately in your stomach. And that would actually cause some problems if you did. Think about it like you have a garden. You talk about flora, right? So you have a garden in your backyard. If there's a bunch of weeds in it, we need to pull those weeds. We need to cultivate the soil. We need to water it. We need to expose it to sunlight. And we need to let Mother Nature work her magic to allow it to blossom into a beautiful, sustainable, healthy garden. The same thing works for your gut flora, or the garden inside of you. Is we need to cultivate a healthy environment. So we need to add, water and fresh soil, not literally soil, but these are your nutrient-dense protein, your whole food fats, your low fructose fruits, and of course, most importantly, your non-starchy vegetables. And then we eat so many of those that we crowd out the bad stuff. So we keep out the weeds. And then we let Mother Nature, we let your beautiful, not broken biology heal and repopulate your gut flora, because your gut flora is simply a function of what you eat. And this is also why if you try to eat too many vegetables too quickly, you might experience bloating, you might experience diarrhea, and you might experience gas. It's not because vegetables will do that for you forever, but it is because your gut flora is not used to taking in all that fiber and not used to taking in all that plant matter. So if you take in vegetables a little bit more slowly and more gradually over time, your gut flora will heal. It will fundamentally change, and then you will have no digestive difficulty when you're going sane, and you will reap all the benefits of having a healthy, thriving gut microbiome. Probiotics, again, meh. We talked about those earlier. Prebiotics are fantastic. They are very difficult to get through food you find at your grocery store. Prebiotics, some studies show, are actually better than probiotics because they are more kicking your body into high gear. Prebiotics are found in abundance in Jerusalem artichokes. So if you have access to Jerusalem artichokes, that's a great option. If you don't, I personally don't. So that's one of the reasons we did create the Sane meal bars and Sane cravings killers, because the fiber, the predominant source of fiber in those bars is prebiotic. So it is a therapeutic, very helpful form of fiber in a whole food context, which is fantastic. So that helps. Next question. Is there a substitute for vanilla bean powder? I've been able to find it in my local stores. Yeah, vanilla bean powder is just delicious, and it is a whole food, so it's preferred, but vanilla extract is fine. What vinegar is sane for salads? All forms of vinegar are non-caloric, so you can use them in abundance. They are neither sane nor insane because they have no calories, and the sane spectrum is looking at the quality of calories in things. So vinegar, not caloric, so it's neither sane nor insane, but you can enjoy it in abundance. And as we talked about earlier, apple cider vinegar, raw undistilled apple cider vinegar, is actually phenomenal for your health. So I would recommend that. And vinegar is just a great option in general for salads. As a general rule of thumb, vinegar and spices, seasonings, these are wonderful ways to make sane food taste good. Store-bought sauces and salad dressing is very risky because most of those, if you read the label, they look like a chemistry experiment, right? Look like a mad scientist. Tridextrose polyphosphate, nonsense, diabetes, heart disease is just what it should say. So things like vinegar, things like spices and seasonings, these are fantastic options. Lemon juice, a little bit of balsamic, a little bit of an olive oil, say, is a fantastic option for salads and foods in general, especially seasonings and spices. Things like turmeric, curcumin, cinnamon, even like hot spice. The thing that makes things spicy, there's an active thing called capsaicin, which is super helpful to help regulate your appetite, to help boost your metabolism. So really, the more you can do with vinegar and the more you can do with spices, not only will your sane food be more delicious, but your results and your health will be better. So that is fantastic. All right. Speaking of sane options, water is also a wonderful sane option. Next question. Oh, this is actually fermented foods. We already covered that one, so hopefully we're all going to go enjoy some fermented foods. Cannot do dairy, so no whey protein or casein allowed. Is pea or rice protein as good? Which is better to use? Pea and rice protein are fine options. They are not as complete or biologically available as whey or casein. So again, don't be like, oh, I'm a failure because I'm eating pea or rice or hemp protein. Pea, rice, and hemp protein, we actually sell all three of them on the Sane store, so you know they're good options. So clean pea, rice, and hemp protein are the three vegan sources of protein we do recommend. It is important if you're going to be doing a pea, rice, or hemp protein that you combine protein sources, because pea, rice, and hemp protein do not have the same level of biological availability or amino acid profile as a whey or a casein. So they're fine, but if you eat 30 grams of protein, will your body assimilate and use 30 grams of protein? If it's coming from pea, rice, or hemp, the answer is no. If it's coming from whey or casein, the answer is yes. So again, it's not a bad thing. It's just something to keep in mind. And you might need to use a little bit more of a pea, rice, or hemp protein. And you do probably want to combine it with some other sources of protein to make sure that you get what's called a complete amino acid profile to ensure that you get all the benefits of protein. And that's actually an interesting, just this question wasn't asked, but it's related. So there are different, for example, protein from plants versus protein from animals. The protein from animals is generally more complete. It has a more and greater spectrum of amino acids. It's more easily assimilated by your body. Doesn't mean plant protein is bad. It just means that animal protein is more complete and more easily assimilated by the body. A similar thing happens with other things like certain forms of fats. For example, omega-3 fatty acids. You'll hear us talk about whole food fats and nuts and seeds. And some of my favorite seeds in the world are chia seeds and flax seeds. And one of the reasons that I love these seeds, in addition to especially chia seeds, how they thicken things up and how they help with appetite and making you feel full, is they're extremely, extremely high in one of the most therapeutic fats in the world, and that is omega-3 fatty acids. But it is important to keep in mind that just like with protein, the omega-3 fatty acids that you get from plants is not as efficiently used as the omega-3 fatty acids that you get from things like fish. So that is why we encourage seafood so much within a sane lifestyle. In short, we're running out of time. There's quite a few questions. There are three different forms of omega-3 fatty acids: DHA, EPA, and ALA. ALA, or alpha linoleic acid, is what you find in plants. And for your body can't actually do anything with alpha linoleic acid. When you take it into your body has to convert it into one of the other two forms of omega-3 fatty acids. And that conversion process is inefficient. It's like when your body takes gasoline and uses it to run your car, there's waste, right? That's the exhaust that comes out of the back of your car. So when your body converts plant omega-3s into something that you, a non-plant, I don't want to say an animal because that sounds mean, but we are animals, a non-plant can use, it's an inefficient process. So make sure that in addition to getting omega-3s from plants, I love me some chia seeds, you're also eating seafood, ideally every day, from humanely raised and non-toxic sources, because you want to make sure you want to get as much of those omega-3s as possible, because they are phenomenally good for not only your body, but also for your mind. All right, next. Dairy kefir, is it sane? Yes. And can I drink the whey that remains when I strain the kefir? Absolutely yes. That one was easy. So good question, Mom T. If I'm avoiding dairy for autoimmune disease, does this mean I should also avoid whey protein in my green smoothie? Currently, I'm using hemp protein, which is not as concentrated. Thoughts or recommendations? If you're avoiding dairy for an autoimmune disease, that sounds like something that you've discussed, hopefully, with a medical professional, your primary care physician. So anything we talk about here, you need to make sure you take through that source first. Oftentimes, the reason that individuals have a hard time with dairy is because of two things that are in dairy: lactose, which is the sugar found in dairy, and casein, which is one of the two proteins found in dairy. Casein and whey are the two primary proteins found in dairy. So when you have a clean whey protein concentrate, what happens is we actually take dairy, milk, and it goes through a filtration process. So there's no chemical change. It's just a physical change. And the vast majority of the lactose and the casein is taken out and you're left with just whey protein. So again, if you've got autoimmune issues, we've got to defer to a medical professional. But what I can tell you is that what makes whey protein different than a glass of milk is that the whey protein has had the vast majority of the lactose and the vast majority of the casein taken out of it. And those are the two substances that can, for some people, cause an autoimmune response. So that might be some information to take back to your MD, to your primary care physician, and see if that might work. But again, there's no, you've got hemp protein. If you really want to try another powdered protein, and this is a big concern for you, you could try egg white protein, or even like liquid egg whites. You can get liquid egg whites from Costco. You might be saying, why are you saying just egg whites? An egg is good for you. An egg is fantastic for you. But right now we're talking about protein. A whole egg gets 64% of its calories from fat. So it is a wonderful source of whole food fats. But if what you're trying to do is get concentrated protein, trying to get concentrated protein from a food that is 65% not protein, aka fat, just isn't a good source. So that's why in this context, you would use egg whites. So hopefully that is helpful. Some key nuggets there again. It's not necessarily that every component of dairy will affect you. For instance, if someone has a lactose intolerance, it's not necessarily that they can't tolerate dairy, it's that they can't tolerate lactose, and lactose is found in dairy. So if there was a way to consume dairy without lactose, they'd be all right. So some of the benefits of whey are that they don't contain casein. It's greatly reduced levels of casein and greatly reduced levels of lactose. Rock and roll. Mom T asks, Jonathan, what's the difference between birch bark or xylitol from birch bark and erythritol? Well, they're both forms of Sane sweeteners. So you'll see these also in the Sane store. Xylitol is generally derived from birch bark or corn. Erythritol goes through a bit of a different process. They are both sugar alcohols. The fundamental difference is, from a metabolic perspective, there isn't a huge difference. Xylitol is more caloric. So from a pure sanity perspective, since neither provides you with essential nutrition, this is kind of going back to the oil conversation. We're not getting essential vitamins, amino acids, minerals, or proteins. Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, or fatty acids from concentrated fat, such as oils, or from concentrated sweeteners. And there are Sane sweeteners, for example, xylitol and erythritol. We do generally want to minimize the amount of calories we get from these sources because we just want to give our body as much caloric, healthy, high-quality calories as we can. So erythritol is less caloric than xylitol. However, erythritol does not bake nearly as well as xylitol. And we are all about progress versus perfection here. So the general rule of thumb is it's not that one is better or worse than the other. Xylitol is better for baking and erythritol is better for everything else. So if you just want to sweeten a drink or if you want to sweeten a smoothie, use erythritol. If you're baking, use xylitol. Both are Sane and they are wonderful things to use in place of any form of caloric or artificial sweetener. Next question. Do you have any, wait, nope. That's wrong. How do I count carbs when eating Sane? Great news. You do not need to count carbs when eating Sane ever. Hopefully you have not seen anything anywhere on any part of our website or in any coaching call or in any support group that says things like, here is the macronutrient breakdown that you must eat when going Sane. And the reason you will not hear that from us is because saying count your macros is just a different version of saying count your calories. How? Well, calories come from 3 different places, macronutrients. So if counting calories is crazy making and counting and counterproductive, counting macros is only one small step away from that. If you count anything, please count non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats, 3 things. Then count the number of hours of sleep number of hours of sleep you get per night. Then count the number of lessons in your step-by-step program that you've completed this week, and then count the number of minutes that you've spent in your coaching and support group over the past week, because these numbers are what will truly, lastingly change and transform your mind and your body. Getting that loving social support in the support group, getting that rest and relaxation that your body has to have to heal. Remember, let's go. We talk about the analogy of having a metabolic flu. If you have the flu, you need to rest. We have the metabolic flu and we need to heal, so we need to rest. Oh, and you should probably also count the amount of steps you take or general activity. Getting that physical activity, so important. Maybe also count if you did your one eccentric exercise session this week. And then we get to the foods, non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats, counting up to double-digit servings of those non-starchy vegetables, 3 to 6 servings of nutrient-dense protein, and then 2 to 6 servings of whole food fats. Please don't worry about counting calories. Please don't worry about counting macros. Both of those techniques can be used for it's just so easy for them to go off into the wrong direction, right? Like you can cut carbs and still eat a toxic, addictive, deadly diet. So this is just this calorie counting, this carb counting, it breaks my heart because we all know that you can eat a low calorie diet that is toxic. Here's a low carb diet that is toxic. Just eat processed high nitrogen spam, high nitrate spam all day. It's extremely low carb. And I mean, maybe it's even zero carb, but it will kill you. We'll get cancer. It's not good. So why not simplify this? Like, calories are not the right metric. We can succeed with eating few calories and still feel like garbage and still not get the results we want. It's a terrible measure, so let's throw it away. Macronutrients, it's just one step away from calories. I don't care if we're eating high carb, high protein, low protein, high fat, low fat. We could spend the rest of our session together here giving examples of high carb diets that are completely insane, and also low carb diets that are completely insane, because there's sane carbs and there's insane carbs. There's sane fats and insane fats. There's sane protein and insane protein. So instead of focusing on high, low, why not just say high quality? Let's eat the highest quality carbs on the planet. Let's eat the highest quality protein on the planet, and let's eat the highest quality fat on the planet. How can that result in something bad? Saying eat the best forms of carbs in the world, the best forms of fat in the world, and the best forms of protein in the world, how can that not lead to the best results? That's why I love this. I love using the Sane spectrum. There is no possible way to take the guideline of non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, and whole food fats in that order and generate anything but a wonderfully healthy and empowering and satisfying lifestyle, period. Whereas low carb and low calorie and high carb and low fat and all that stuff, there's just ways that it can go into insanity. So please free yourself from that. It's so much simpler when we just go Sane, non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. And your Sane certified coaches can certainly help. But of course, in your step-by-step program, we do cover in detail, like what is a high quality carb, low quality carb, high quality fat, low quality fat, high quality protein, low quality protein. But again, the quick version, non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, and whole food fats, low fructose fruits. Those are the highest quality sources of protein, carbs, and fats on the planet, so we can keep it really simple if you want. The next thing, when I get stressed, I tend to eat more than I do when I'm sad or happy. Is there a way I can change this so I can handle my stress better and avoid making insane choices? This goes back to what we talked about earlier, where stress is such a big emotional part of our results. And this is something that in your coaching and support group, in your program, and in your one-on-one coaching calls, I would urge you to go deep on this because we could spend an entire hour and a half together. And there is a tremendous amount of information on stress and stress-based eating in your Ignite program. Please just type stress into your search box. There's a wonderful interview that I did with Professor Elizabeth Brondolo. Her last name is spelled Brondolo, Brondolo. Just do a quick search for that by clicking the magnifying glass in your Ignite program. It's also a wonderful interview with an individual over at MIT, Thea Singer, Singer. You'll also find on your Ignite website. Again, there's entire modules dedicated to stress because it's a huge issue. So I want to make sure you get all the information you need. That is going to be found on your site. But the one thing that I can add here in the 17 minutes that we have left, I'm not going to take up the full 17 minutes, but is the mindset that we bring to stress is so important. In fact, there is a fantastic book by an individual by the name of Kelly McGonigal. She is based out of Stanford University. And again, it's Kelly McGonigal. The book is called The Upside of Stress. And the resources I talked about earlier that we'll be providing free of charge to all Ignite members are going to be very helpful here. But the number one thing that you can do when it comes to stress is to, well, first, if you can avoid it, that's fantastic. But sometimes that's not always possible. The second thing is to try not to allow the stress to spiral. So if you experience stress, experience it, feel it, and let it. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to be like, oh, I shouldn't be stressed. When I'm stressed, it's gonna make me toxic, and because that's stress. So many of us, myself included, stress causes us to stress. And then we get into this stress spiral where a little bit of stress causes us to stress, which causes more stress. It's like when you're laying in bed at night and you have a big thing happen the next day and you're like, oh, I got to go to sleep. I got to go to sleep. The harder we try to fall asleep, the more awake we become. So sometimes the harder we try to fight stress, the more stress we create. So we don't have a huge amount of time here. I apologize. But the number one thing is check out those resources. The book is called The Upside of Stress. And also when stress happens, if at all possible, try to take on an approach of like a judo or like a running stream of water. The stress comes and you don't fight it. Because our perception of stress, oh my gosh, this toxic substance just got into my body and now it's going to make everything terrible. That, I'm going to mix metaphors like a champion here, but it's like you get bit by a snake, right? So you get bit by a snake, that's objectively bad, right? Venom went into your body. That's not good. We need to get the venom out. But it's like, if it's not the snake bite that is so bad, the snake bite hurt, but it's the venom that gets into your body that then starts coursing around that causes the problem. And I think sometimes, myself included, stress happens and that's bad. It's like the snake bite. But then it's like we as individuals take that stress and we like rub it all over ourselves. We say that stress shouldn't have happened. Oh my gosh, now that I'm stressed about being stressed, stress spiral. So just this awareness, just what we're talking about here helps, because when you start to engage in this, let's call it stress spiral, we can't avoid that if we're not aware of it. So awareness is step number one. Now you're aware of it, so you've already taken a huge step in the right direction. Now we need to learn, as that stress spiral starts, how do we transcend it? How do we do something instead of going down that spiral? And that's something without a doubt that you can learn more about in the program. Your Sane certified coaches can help you with. And here's just a quick fix, which you'll never hear me say very much, but there are a few quick fixes in the world. One quick fix for avoiding a stress spiral is when that stressful event happens, pop into your coaching and support group. It works anywhere you got an internet connection, any computer, any tablet. It works on your phone. What you need to do is you need to interrupt the pattern. Stress is happening. A different part of your brain called your amygdala has gotten activated. We need to calm it down. We need to distract it. this might sound a little bit silly, but if some very stressful event happened and then a funny looking at a baby at a puppy, if a super stressful event happened and then a bunch of puppies ran into the room and started licking your legs, in an instant you would no longer be stressed. Now, the answer is not to hire a puppy parade every time you get stressful, but the reason that you get stressed, the reason I'm giving that example is that we need to interrupt a pattern. We need to, when we get stressed, immediately have something else come into our mind to help us not fester and rub that stress all over us. So in the absence of a puppy parade coming in and distracting you from that stress, your sane family, well, we're not quite as cute as little puppies. I mean, I don't know. Some of your Sane certified coaches, these are some good looking sane individuals. I got to tell you, I mean, they're as beautiful as it comes in all senses of the word. We have some beautiful people, beautiful in the truest sense of the word, in your Sane Ignite family. But I don't know if we're as cute as puppies. But if you can surround yourself with loving individuals, if you can put yourself in that loving context in the instant that you are stressed, it will help to diffuse that stress, and then you can check back in and continue to, over time, get more and more help to de-escalate. That's the technical psychological term, to de-escalate that stressful situation. And I know I couldn't give the full answer here, and I do apologize for that, but there is more in the program, so hopefully that's a good starting point. Oh my goodness, we got 11 minutes left, so let's keep going here. There is a concern with overusing spinach in smoothies because of oxalic acid. It blocks absorption of calcium. Can blending for 3 minutes or more ever reach over 104 degrees, which kills vitamins? A member is asking. Okay, so eating a lot of spinach with oxalic acid. So you may have heard about this on the internet. A couple things. First and foremost, you have to eat a lot of raw spinach for this to become an issue. Second thing, if you drink green tea, which is something that is strongly recommended within your Ignite program and within the Sane program in general, that helps very much with avoiding issues with too much oxalic acid. Third, if you make Sane smoothies in the way that we recommend, which is to blend them for at least 3 minutes, the smoothie will get warm. And yes, that could kill certain vitamins, but it also does positive things like decreases the amount of oxalic acid that is going to get absorbed into your body. So the number one thing to keep in mind is, first and foremost, we want to get a diversity of vegetables. So you do not want to eat 10 servings of spinach in a day, ever. so that's helpful. So you got a blend of spinach, maybe some kale, some romaine, some Swiss chard, some arugula. And then if you're drinking green tea, that's extremely helpful. And then you may have some raw spinach, but then if you do blend your smoothies thoroughly, as we talk about, that is going to help as well with the oxalic acid condition. And just, this is an example, and it's a really important one. We don't have an oxalic acid epidemic in this country, right? Like none of us, unless you have existing kidney problems, need to worry about eating too many green leafy vegetables. Please, if you follow the Sane program as it's recommended, so if you're drinking that green tea, if you're eating a diversity of vegetables, please don't let some of this stuff distract you. Because truly, let's be clear, you can die of drinking too much water. Plenty of people have died trying to look how much water, it's like radio DJ prank, and then they die because it screws up the electrolyte balance. You can die from over consuming water. Anything can become toxic if it's radically overused. The poison is in the dose. The issue is not, can something be bad for me? Anything can be bad for you. too much oxygen. If you breathe in pure oxygen, it's bad. If you take in too much water, it's bad. Does that mean that we should worry about breathing or drinking water? No, please no. We need to always keep in mind that anything to excess can be damaging. But what's beautiful is after 15 years of research, your Sane program is presenting to you an amazingly evidence-based and balanced approach. So while you definitely don't want to eat 2 pounds of raw spinach per day, hopefully you will never find anything in your Sane Ignite program that recommends that. Rather, it presents spinach within the context of an abundance, a diversity of green leafy vegetables to be consumed both raw and cooked. And hopefully you're drinking green tea, which really helps. And that's the beauty of Sane, is it's not just like, just cut out fat or just do this. All the pieces work together synergistically, right? Oh, that's a lot of protein. Well, it's not a lot of protein, but it's really not a lot of protein, especially when you do eccentric exercise. And does that protein cause an acidic balance in my body? Well, not when you eat all those non-starchy vegetables. And well, could those non-starchy vegetables cause oxalic acid issues? Well, not when you have green tea. So you can start to see how Sane as a lifestyle, as a whole thing taken together, it's a beautiful symphony of biology, and it has transformative effects on your body. It's a fantastic question, and hopefully this answer helps, and hopefully it illustrates how much research and how much engineering has gone into this, because we do want to provide a complete and transformative program for you for life. So this is hopefully a great example of that. All right, hold on one second. Got to get a little bit of water here. We got 5 minutes left, so we got a few questions left over here that I didn't have a chance to get to. If I didn't get to your question, please, 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 don't worry. Every single question that I didn't get to, we're going to carry it over into our next call, and I'm going to start with them. So please tune in to the next call. If I didn't get to your question, we will cover it there 100%. It's not lost, so I do apologize. Hopefully the other questions have been helpful. I think I have time for one more question here tonight, and hopefully this session has been as fun for you as it has been for me. We've had some excellent questions. I love it. You've shared 90 minutes of your evening with me, which I so appreciate. This has been the highlight of my day. Hopefully it has been helpful for you as well. I know we've gone fast, but remember, this call is recorded. It is going to be available within your Ignite website. In the when you scroll down to the bottom of the footer, you'll see something like coaching calls. It's going to be there in about 72 hours, but we still got 5 minutes left. So one more question here, which is, why is green tea recommended but not any other kind? Green tea and black tea and white tea actually all come from the same plant. They're just processed differently. So green tea, white tea, and black tea are all fantastic for you. Green tea does have a unique amount of science behind it, and green tea is very cost effective. And black tea can be black tea can have a much higher caffeine content than green tea, and white tea can be radically more expensive than green tea. So if you are the individual that asked this question, you clearly know a lot about tea, so kudos to you. Green, black, and white teas are all fantastically sane. They're wonderful for you, and I would highly recommend them. The reason that we focus on green tea so much is it is the most accessible of both of those three options, but they all come from the same plant. They do have slightly different benefits. So if you can have some black tea, some green tea, and some white tea, that would be fantastic. But if you are like me and just like green tea, that will also be wonderful for you too. And here's one advanced tip for you to close on. There has been research done on green tea. I don't know if this research has been done on black tea or white tea, but there has been research done with green tea that shows if green tea is consumed with something that helps to promote an alkaline state in your digestive system, as well as some vitamin C, that the antioxidants that make green tea so healthy are more effective and more readily absorbed into your body. So you might be saying to yourself, what? So 2 ways to do that. One would be to add a little bit of lemon to your green tea. Another way would be, ta-da, Sane smoothies. It all comes together. It all comes together. You've probably seen in a lot of your recipes, we recommend that you do things like Sane smoothie boosters or taste turbochargers or texture enhancers. We talk about adding cinnamon. We talk about adding apple cider vinegar. And we talk about adding actual loose green tea. So you can literally cut a bag of green tea open, put it into your green smoothie, blend it in the blender, because taking in that green tea in the context of an alkaline meal and also a meal that's going to provide you with vitamin C makes the green tea do more of the things it does so beautifully in your body in terms of being an antioxidant and helping to neutralize free radicals. So there's a bonus, more advanced tip for you, and one other example of how Sane does allow you to just take this comprehensive view, which, I mean, as you've seen, there's a lot of complexity going on here, but let's pop back. Non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense protein, whole food fats, low fructose fruits, in that order. It's simplicity on the far side of complexity. And then when you combine that with patience and self-love and a long-term mindset, you experience just unbelievably transformative and life-saving results. So, whew! If I didn't get to your question, I will get to it last week. Thank you so much. This has been an absolutely amazing way for at least me and hopefully you to spend your Wednesday evening 90 electrifying and sane minutes together. I didn't give you a homework assignment, but here's one homework assignment for you. If you've never tried putting loose green tea leaves in your Sane smoothie, please do try it. Quite a few people don't like the taste of green tea, but when you put green tea in your Sane smoothie, not only is it more effective, but you're also getting the entire tea leaf, which is helpful, and it's not going to mess with the taste. So you don't need to put a lot of green tea, just put a little bit, like a pinch, or you could just cut open a bag and put not the whole bag, like not the actual material of the bag, but the contents of your bag into the smoothie, and let us know how that goes in your coaching and support group. And that is the homework assignment for this week. And as always, goodness sakes, we've got to close. We've got to close with your My Sanity reflection, which hopefully you've seen. Hopefully you've got it. It's all over the website. This is something that just makes me so happy. Hopefully it makes you happy as well. Again, the encouragement here is to take this, print it out, put it on your fridge, put it on your desk, paste it to your mirror, put it somewhere where twice a day, literally, you can do what we're about to do right now, and to read this out loud. I need you to read this out loud twice a day. Seriously, I know it might seem a little awkward, but the results are not awkward. The results are transformative. So let's do it together. Get this out. If you don't have it already, we'll get it to you ASAP after this session. Just pop into your coaching and support group, or chances are one of your awesome Sane certified coaches is posting a link to it right now in the chat, because they're amazing. So let's get this out together. Let's read it together. Here we go. My Sanity. And again, thank you for a wonderful session. This has been an epic one. If just tell me what to eat worked, I would be eating it already. If counting calories and points worked, I would be thin already. If trying to be perfect, if that worked, I'd be perfect already. If quick fixes worked, well, then I'd be fixed already. So what works? Well, what haven't I tried? Courageous consistency? Unconditional self-love? Calm patience? Sane eating? That is what works. To achieve a different result, I will take a different approach. Living sane works. It will. It's proven biology. So I will give myself the courageous consistency, unconditional self-love, calm, patience, and proven sanity that I deserve. And with just 6 months of patient, consistent, and self-loving sanity, I will permanently enjoy the energy, body, health, and happiness of my dreams. I will be sane. Thank you again from myself and your entire Sane family. All our gratitude and all our blessings. See you soon in the next call, and please pop into your coaching and support group. It is such a wonderful and loving place. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.